I'm Alex Pomorski, and this is my presentation on Season 1 of Schitt's Creek. So, for those of you who have not seen the show, it's a character-driven, fish-out-of-water sitcom. It stars the ultra-wealthy Rose family. In the first episode, they lose their fortune due to financial fraud. So the only remaining asset the government cannot seize, because it has no value at all, is the deed to a small dilapidated town called Schitt's Creek.
You bought a small town in 1991, Johnny.
Yes, I bought that as a joke for my son.
So they go to live in this small motel in Schitt's Creek, and the main characters of the Rose family are Johnny Rose, played by Eugene Levy, he's the father; Moira Rose, played by Catherine O'Hara, the mother; David Rose, Daniel Levy, the son; and Alexis Rose, Annie Murphy, the daughter. The protagonist is a tricky question because it's an ensemble cast. You could make the argument for David Rose, because I think he goes through the most character development over the season, but the plot argument would be for Johnny Rose. So he's the patriarch of the family. He's the one most actively pursuing the external plot goal, which is to sell the town and fix their financial situation and get the family out of Schitt's Creek. And he's also the one that most directly confronts who you would call the antagonist. And who is the antagonist? Roland Schitt, who's played by Chris Elliott. So he's like this irritating, incompetent, kind of gross mayor, and he's a consistent obstacle for Johnny. He's always frustrating his attempts to sell the town. So, the overarching dramatic question of the series: will the Rose family ever truly learn to live without their wealth and become a functional, empathic, emotionally connected family? Or will they just remain this detached, superficial, pretty generally awful group of people? So, is there a specific question being asked for the season? Yes, it would be, will the Rose family successfully sell the town of Schitt's Creek and regain their financial independence so that they can leave the town and go back to their old ways? Is that question answered in this season? No. They do get close to selling the town in this season, but they do not leave Schitt's Creek, or do they regain their wealth. What is the ongoing obstacle or problem of this season? It would be their inability to sell the town, which forces them to be in close proximity to each other, lacking their comfort, and that forces them to interact with the townspeople, people of a lower class that they previously never would have interacted with. Is there an identifiable act structure in the season? I'd say yes. So I'd say in the first 4 episodes, the Roses are stripped of all their wealth and forced to move to Schitt's Creek, but they are in complete denial of their situation, and they're extremely, standoffish to the town and its people. Act 2, episodes 5 through 11, the Roses come up with schemes and plans to escape, selling the town. They try and start a business, but they repeatedly run into obstacles that force them to interact with the townsfolk and each other, which causes them to slowly adapt to the town. Act 3, I'd say, is the last 2 episodes, 12 and 13. It's their final escape attempt. They actually find somebody willing to buy the town, but ultimately that fails, and it dawns on them the realization that they are really stuck here in this town. And the final image of that season is David running away, symbolizing that the family still refuses to accept this as their new home. Standout episodes of the season are episode 4, Bad Parents. It illustrates the absurdity of the show and how crazy dysfunctional they are. Johnny and Moira realize that they can't even remember their adult children's middle names.
No, there's still a little bit that needs to be filled in.
All that's missing is my middle name.
Then fill it in, please.
I have to do that?
Why must you be so constantly irksome?
Do you not know my middle name?
Of course I do. I blessed you with it.
Alexis, do as your mother says, please.
Do you know my middle name?
If I said Anna...
I can't believe this.
Alexis something Rose.
Wait, Alexis has a middle name? Why is this the first time hearing of this? Do I have a middle name?
Episode 3, Don't Worry, It's His Sister. Stevie, the desk clerk at the motel, who's also later on going to be David's romantic interest, helps David take his first steps towards adapting to his new situation by getting a real job as a grocery bagger. Johnny realizes the town sign is also way too sexually suggestive, and he demands Roland change it so that they can have a better chance of selling the town. And Moira attempts to teach a grade school class how to act.
Never let the bastards get you down. The opportunities will diminish, and the ass will get bigger. Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar it will. Especially yours. You're going to have a huge ass. And you, future Baldy. Sorry, hairless, homeless. So what? Who cares? When they get mean, you tell them to go to hell, because only you know who you are. Lady standing!
Good. You're getting the hang of it.
Well, putting groceries in a bag is not as complicated as one might think.
Watch the eggs. What did I say?
Said put them in a separate bag.
And episode 13, the finale, Town for Sale, the climax where Johnny actually finds the buyer, but the deal fails.
Sign? On? What's happening? What? Oh my God, Andy! Andy! We had him. We had him. We had
Put the pen in
him.
his hand.
Oh.
Sign. He was going to sign.
Are there common themes to the above episodes? Yes, identity and status, loss of control, vulnerability, and forming authentic bonds. Is there a contrasting opening and closing image to the season? Yes. So it opens on a sweeping shot of the Rose family's mansion, which is contrasted by the closing shot of the season finale, where David is driving Roland's stolen pickup truck out of Schitt's Creek, desperation to escape the town and return to the past that he's comfortable with. So, is there a question left unanswered at the end of the season? Yes. Will the Rose family escape Schitt's Creek and regain their wealth? So this show is a father-son production with Eugene Levy and Daniel Levy, who also play Johnny Rose and David Rose. Eugene Levy worked on a sketch comedy series, SCTV, with Catherine O'Hara, and starred in films with Christopher Guest, like Best of Show, where they did a lot of improv. Daniel Levy was a host on Canadian MTV. Are there similar themes on other series the creative personnel worked on? Yes, Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara established their character-driven comedy style in those Christopher Guest movies and their improv background, which satirized these kind of flawed, eccentric characters while still treating them as humans. In Dan Levy's time as a reality TV host, he covered Lives of the Wealthy, which actually led to this show's concept, with the question, what would happen if one of these wealthy families would lose everything? Would the Kardashians still be the Kardashians without their money? So ultimately, season 1 asks if the Roses can truly change, and the answer is that by the end of this season, no. But the seeds for that change have been planted. Thank you.
Ew, David.